Okay, dividing polynomials. So we've already looked at dividing using long division, and right now we want to take a look at how to use synthetic division to divide polynomials. Here they want us to use synthetic division to divide x cubed minus 14x squared plus 51x minus 54 by x plus 2. They want the quotient and the remainder. So let's take a look at how they show us to do this. So the first step is we're dividing by x plus 2. Dividing by x plus 2. The first step is to reverse the sign and put it in this little house here. So you notice that we put a negative 2 in the little house to get this started. The next thing is, after you reverse that sign, to look at the coefficients. So we see that they're going in order, a descending order, a 3, 2, 1, and constant. So there are no placeholders to enter. We want to write down the coefficients without the variables here. So if you notice that the coefficient for x cubed is 1, so they have a 1 here. The coefficient for x squared is negative 14, and we have a negative 14 here. The coefficient for x is 51. We jot that down. And the constant is 54. So we write down the coefficients and the constant in descending order, okay, without the variables. Next step, if we look at step 2, is to bring down that first coefficient. So whatever is in this position will come down below the line to get started. Okay, the rest of the way is just multiplication and addition to get to the last column. So what they do once they move the 1 down under the line is multiply the negative 2 to the negative 1. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, and that goes in this first column. Once you have the column complete, it's adding the column together. So we get negative 16, and now negative 16 is under the line, so that we have to multiply negative 2 to negative 16. That gives us 32, and we complete that column and add it together. So 51 and 32, 83. Next step is to multiply the negative 2 now to the 83. We get negative 166. The last column is complete. Add the column together, we get negative 220. Okay, so what do these numbers mean? Well, starting all the way to the right, this last column is our remainder column. Okay, the column to the left of that is the constant column, and then we have x and x squared. So the exponents keep going up by 1 each time you move to the left. So we match up the variable and the coefficients. So we have 1x squared, we have negative 16x, and a constant 83, with a remainder of negative 220. Right here, they want us to use synthetic division to divide x cubed minus 57x plus 56 by x minus 7. So if you remember, the first step was for the x minus 7, reverse the sign. So that means that number 7 will go in the little house. Let's look at the coefficients. For the x cubed, you have a 1. Now notice that it goes from x cubed to x to the first. We're missing an x squared here. So what happens is we have to put a placeholder in for the x squared column. So our first coefficient is 1. The next one is negative 57. I'm sorry, we have the placeholder, 0. Then negative 57. And then 56. Okay, we'll draw our line. So first step, first coefficient comes down below the line. Next step is to multiply the 7 to the 1. we get 7. First column's complete. We add it together. We have 7. We multiply 7 times 7. We get 49. That column is complete. So we add them together. We get -8. Now we multiply 7 to -8. We get -56. Add that column together. We get a 0. So column all the way to the right is our remainder column. -8 is our constant, our x column, and x squared column. So what we have now is x squared plus 7x minus 8 with a remainder of 0. Now that we have a remainder of 0, we know a couple of things. One, that x minus 7 is a factor of x cubed minus 57x plus 56. And we know that p of 7 is going to equal 0. So if we insert 7 in for x in the expression, we should get a 0. So we could try that out here. So we know that p of x is equal to x cubed minus 57x plus 56. So p of 7, we'll just substitute 7 in. And see what we get. So that would give us 7 cubed minus 57 times 7 plus 56. Sure enough, we get the 0. So we know we did our division correctly. And again, we know that x minus 7 is a factor of x cubed minus 57x plus 56. Here they want us to divide 4x cubed plus 21x squared minus x minus 24 by x plus 5. We'll use synthetic division. And again, first thing is to take a look here, reverse the sign. So that means that -5 has to go in the house. Let's take a look at the exponents. 3, 2, 1 constant. Okay, no placeholders necessary here. So the first coefficient is 4, the second one 21, -1, and -24. Okay, let's draw our line, bring down the first coefficient. So -5 times 4, -20. That leaves us a 1 when we add that column together. -5 times 1, -5. Add that column, we get a -6. And -5 times -6 is a positive 30. That's going to leave us a remainder of 6. Okay, right? So we have our remainder column, our constant, our x, and x squared. So we have 4x squared plus x minus 6 with a remainder of 6. Okay, here, same thing. We can use synthetic division to divide x cubed minus x squared minus 4x plus 4 divided by x minus 2. So we have x minus 2 here. We want to reverse the sign, so that's going to put 2 in the house. Let's take a look at the exponents. So 3, 2, 1, and constant. So now the coefficients are 1, -1, -4, and 4. Bring down the first coefficient. So 2 times 1 is 2. That leaves us 1 when we put that column together. 2 times 1 is 2. When we add that column, that'll give us -2. And 2 times -2 is -4. And we have a 0 remainder. Okay, again, constant x squared. So our answer is x squared plus x minus 2 with a remainder of 0. So we have a remainder of 0, and we know that x minus 2 is a factor of x cubed minus x squared minus 4x plus 4.